Hey guys, Razorblade Mango here. So, by the time you're watching this, it's going to be New Year's Eve. So, we made it through 2018. Hooray! Thank God. So,
Yay!
yay. So, a lot of you for a long time have been asking me to talk about, each individual Kingdom Hearts game. And I think I've only done this with Kingdom Hearts 2. But I've never done it with any of the other ones, and I've just never really found the motivation or reason to do it. But with Kingdom Hearts 3, by the time you're listening to this, coming out in less than a month now, so I wanted to do this with somebody, and who better to do it with than someone who is not only one of my best friends, but also a fellow Kingdom Hearts nut like myself. So, first of all, introduce yourself, good sir. Who are you? Why are you on my
All right.
channel?
Well, first off, Adam, thank you for having me on your podcast.
And
Um,
sorry for having to re-record this. We actually recorded this once already, and it was my fault that the audio was all fucked. So we have to do this again.
no, yeah, I know about
That's
that.
my
I know
bad.
about that. It's okay. Don't worry about that. All right, guys. So, name's Richard, also known as the richest man.
Smash competitor,
Yes, Smash competitor,
Kingdom
Lucas Main.
Kingdom Hearts
I, uh,
aficionado.
yes, I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan as well. But other than that, gosh damn it, I'm looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3. And,
Oh yeah.
like, I'm still kind of like shocked that I ended up finishing all the games in like over a month. Well, not all the games exactly, because I beat the first one and I was like halfway done with Riku's story in Chain of Memories like
Mm-hmm.
back in October, and I knew Kingdom Hearts 3 was literally almost there, and I was like, shit, I need to hit the grinds now. I gotta
Well,
hit the grind, and I did.
considering I play the games like God, like pretty much every week practically. I play at least one of them every week for a little bit. I really didn't feel the need to replay them again. So I like because I still like between these ears in my head is Kingdom Hearts encyclopedia. So this is I think about Kingdom Hearts practically every day, and I know that sounds lame, but it's true. So
No, no, yeah, no, yeah. I think we've all learned like I think it's just like all the lessons we've learned with Kingdom Hearts, like
not
like
really
throughout the that like help us remember and how to like apply it to our
to
everyday
life.
lives. Yeah, 'cause Kingdom Hearts did teach us a lot
If
about stuff.
somebody dressed in a black robe walks towards you, just take out a replica Keyblade and smack them in the head with it. That's one lesson I learned from the series.
Hmm. No, yeah.
So how this is going to work. So we're actually going to do this in 5 parts, which, oh my god, 5 parts. So this first part, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be going through each of the games. So the list for today is we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories, or Re-Chain of Memories, whichever. And then for the next one, so basically the content is going to be doled out. You're going to get a new episode every Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time until the release of Kingdom Hearts 3, which the final episode is going to come out the day it releases, which is going to be Monday the 28th. Well, technically it releases at 9 p.m. our time, but it comes out midnight everywhere else, like in the East Coast and whatever. So
No, yeah.
but it will like that episode will come out the final day before. So you're gonna get the Christmas Eve today, or New Year's Eve today. You're gonna get first Kingdom Hearts and Chain of Memories, and then next week you're gonna get Kingdom Hearts 2 and 358/2 days. Then the
Oh,
week
I
after
love that one.
that, you're gonna get Birth by Sleep and Recoded. After that, you're gonna get Dream Drop Distance and X/back cover. And then for the final episode, you're going to get Fragmentary Passage and our just basically a discussion about Kingdom Hearts 3. So I think the one I'm looking forward to the most is talking about 2, which is going to be next week. Because 2 is maybe my favorite game ever. Maybe. So with that being said, I guess I'll go into this by briefly talking about how I got into Kingdom Hearts, which is going to be so when I was 9, 10 ish, I knew the series existed. I knew the first one existed just because I'd seen TV commercials of it, and one of my best friends growing up got into it. So I'd go over to his house and I'd watch him play the first one. And what I didn't know at the time, because I saw him mainly fight the secret Kurt Zosa sand boss in Agrabah and Ansem over and over again with the god awful unskippable cutscenes.
Oh
So
yeah.
I figured the whole game was like that, and it just turned me off immediately from ever playing it. I just went, nope, not gonna go near this, because I would just see how frustrated he would get playing it. And
That's where you
if
got
he
it.
got frustrated, only I could only imagine, because I have a temper, and I have very little patience for shit. When it came time for like Kingdom Hearts 2 to come out, I was not interested, to say the very least, because I just didn't care. So, however, there was one day where I was trading in games at GameStop, and back then I had a really weird fear of saying no to people. So when the GameStop employee asked me if I wanted to put my trade-ins towards a pre-order of Kingdom Hearts 2, I couldn't say no. So I just was like, okay, sure, whatever. Like I just didn't care, and I just never really thought about. I didn't really have a good idea of what a pre-order was back then. When I was 12, I just was like, okay, whatever. I'm getting a game out of it. Who cares? So I pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 2, and when it came out, got it, went home, played it, and I fully expected to just be like, okay, whatever. It's Kingdom Hearts. I'm not gonna understand shit that happened from the first or the last one, Chain of Memories. I'm not gonna care. I just whatever. I fucked myself into getting this game, so whatever. I'll see what happens. And I was, I think, almost immediately taken aback by how much I got into it. Everyone says that the opening of the opening hours of Kingdom Hearts 2 are like the worst parts of the series, or one of the worst parts of the series, and that really annoys the shit out of me when people say that, because those 2 hours, those opening 2 hours of Kingdom Hearts 2, they were for me like one of the most defining experiences of my gaming history. Like the moment though the 2 hours ended and we became Sora again, I was hooked. I was hooked. I didn't want to go to bed. I remember my mom. I was in Mysterious Tower after we left Twilight Town, and I remember my mom coming in like, all right, time to go to bed. And I was like, no, I don't, I don't want to, I don't want to go to bed. I want to keep playing because this is so cool. But thankfully it was the weekend, so I could just play it again during the weekend. And I had an absolutely wonderful time with Kingdom Hearts 2. So that's what got me into Kingdom Hearts 1, which then I went on to play the other ones. And since then, ever since I was in 6th grade, I have just been a mega fan of Kingdom Hearts. So that's my history with the series. So, Richard, what about you?
Me?
Yeah, you. You. Who else? Who else would I be talking to?
Yeah. All right. So I got into the franchise. I believe I was in high school, and what happened was, I believe I was hanging out with, yeah, I was with a friend. His name was like Armando Acegueda.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, we were talking, and then he tells me how much he loves Kingdom Hearts, and then I'm like, doesn't that have Disney characters in it? Like I thought, because I remember I used to like talk trash on it just because it had Disney characters. So yeah, I know,
Hey, I grew up with Disney.
I know, I feel bad, and I kind of feel stupid for saying that because I grew up with Disney too, but I don't know. As I got older, I was kind of like, isn't this just for kids? I swear. And I don't know. I just used to insult it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what I was thinking,
Yeah.
and I regret that. I regret saying that. I
Heathen.
mean, that was my middle school self. But
Yeah.
okay, but yeah. So Armando told me about it, and then finally I was like, you know what? I'll take a look into it.
Mhm.
And so then I started watching the cutscenes on from Kingdom Hearts 2 on YouTube
Mhm.
when I was watching them, and I was watching the cutscenes with Roxas and Hayner and Pence and Olette.
You didn't get the full experience.
Nope, I didn't. I didn't have a PS2 at the time.
Ugh.
I didn't have one at the time, so I was just watching the cutscenes, and then as I
Mhm.
was watching them, I was like, "This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually liking this." And so then, as I'm watching them, I'm just like, "I love this," and I just wanted to play it already, but I didn't have the system at the time. But I knew 358 was coming out, and then my brother ended up getting it, and we had to share it, and I just immediately loved the franchise.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it.
Nice. With that being said, we're not going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 2 today. That's going to be next week, which I'm very much looking forward to talking about. But
Oh
today,
yeah, of course. You told me it is your favorite.
yes, far and away my favorite one out of all of them. But we're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, Kingdom Hearts 1 is a really interesting game. I would put this as my second favorite one with some caveats. First of all, do not play the original PlayStation 2 version. That I
Oh,
have to stress enough.
oh,
Do not.
Adam, speaking of that,
Mm.
so my cousin, him being dumb enough, he bought the original PS2 version instead of buying the HD
No.
collection.
Why?
And
Why?
we even told them that you don't want to fight, you don't want to play the original PS2 version
No,
because
you don't.
if you lose the Anthem, you have to start all the way from the beginning.
Yeah, there are some games that are better in their original states. Like the original Final Fantasy games are the best on the PlayStation 1.
Oh
And
yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 2, to a certain extent, Kingdom Hearts 2 is better on the PlayStation 2. It's got the better remix of the music. It's got it doesn't have the long ass final mix cutscenes that are in there, and it's just an overall better experience. But Kingdom Hearts 1 is absolutely best played on the PS4 or the PS3. I'd argue the PS4 just because it runs at 60 frames on the PS4. But Kingdom Hearts 1 is really, really terrible on the PS2. Like the controls are garbage. The camera is god awful. You control it via the I don't know what they were thinking with this. You control it via the R2 and L2 buttons, which are not at all better than the fucking controls for the Kingdom Hearts 2, where you use the right analog stick to move the camera the way it's meant to be. And what's worst of all, you cannot skip the cutscenes. So if you are fighting a boss that you're stuck on, well, tough shit, kiddo. You gotta watch the same cutscenes over and over and over and over again. You can't
that's
skip them.
that's stressful.
It's not just stressful. It is annoying because it's all that wasted time when you could just have a button to skip the cutscene and there you go. That's it. You don't have to sit there and watch the same goddamn thing over and over again until you defeat an annoying ass boss. With that, also, I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is the only one in the series that ever really tried to be a platformer to some extent. And I don't think that worked out very well. And it's got puzzle and exploration stuff to it, which isn't particularly great.
I
Well,
mean, it was very slow paced. The puzzle solving
yes.
was pretty tough.
Yes.
I, it was pretty tough.
I don't know about tough. It's just it's badly designed because it's so obscure in some areas what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and the combat was very slow.
Yeah. Well, I actually I
It's
don't
not.
aside from the
It's not.
camera, I don't have a problem with the combat. It's just because I think the combat is fun. It's just the way the moment to moment stuff between the combat and the boss fights and the cutscenes, like the exploration and the platforming, especially on levels like Alice in Wonderland and Deep. Oh my God, Deep
Deep
Jungle and Monstro,
Atlantica, Atlantica,
Atlantica,
at
Atlantica,
Monst.
Monstro. So, but Atlantica in Kingdom Hearts 1 is fine. It's fine. I like it more than Deep Jungle. I like it more than Monstro. Monstro is probably the worst one. 'Cause that's
Deep
just a
Ju-
maze of same looking environments and bad platforming. It's bad. It's a bad level design and some of them are bad.
nah, Deep Jungle's my least favorite.
That one is bad too.
Yeah, I
It's
got lost all the time. I was like, where the heck am I supposed to go?
yeah. And then I probably the best world in the game I think for me would be Nightmare Before Christmas, which I think in Halloween Town is such a good world. I think that like I was actually intimidated by that world when I first saw it when I was 9, because I just was like, holy shit, this place is huge and there's like so many winding paths and weird shortcuts to it. I was overwhelmed. I thought to myself, I'm never gonna be able to do this. But now when I play through Halloween Town, I just go, oh, how cute. It's such a small little world. That's adorable. I think my favorite world, aside from any of the Disney worlds, I still think it's Traverse Town. Because I love the music associated with Traverse Town. I love the atmosphere of this sleepy village almost. It's so good. I love Traverse Town. And what I think holds Kingdom Hearts 1 together, even with my complaints of it, and why I think it's the second best one in the series, is that I think it has, second only to Kingdom Hearts 2, I think it has hands down the best story in the series. Because it's the most simplistic one. And even then it is it can be convoluted and complicated at points with the whole talking of hearts and darkness and lights and all that shit. Like the terminology gets all fucked in some points. I love the story of Kingdom Hearts, the first one, because I think it's just a simple, not simple, but it at its very core, it is the story of a boy leaving his comfortable surroundings and meeting up with a new team of friends to go on an epic adventure and like go to Disney worlds and go fight evil and stuff like that. And I love that kind of stuff. And I think the relationship that he has with Riku in this one is really dark and complicated, especially with Riku be like, clearly Riku is this older brother figure to Sora, and to see Sora wrestle with his feelings regarding how to approach Riku now that Riku is slowly succumbing to darkness, I find that really interesting. I like that Kyrie is a big part of it because you can clearly tell right off the bat that Sora and Kyrie kind of have like a little bit something special to their relationship, kind of. Without even the bit where he like draws, giving her the Palpo fruit on the cave wall. You can tell just from the way they interact with one another and the way he just like deeply cares for her is really, it's a really like special touching relationship that they have. So like overall, what are your impressions of Kingdom Hearts? The
Like with
first
the
one.
first one.
The first one, yeah.
First one. Well, first off, the obviously was it tried to have a lot of platforming in it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate. I mean, I like it. It's not my favorite one in the franchise, though.
Yeah, we both know which one's your favorite one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I won't say it,
Okay.
but okay. Combat wasn't slow, but like you were saying it was feeling very chunky. It was feeling
It's
very chunky.
yes.
Um,
It lacks the smoothness that was to come later with the combat.
but overall, one, it is great. It is great. I mean, it has its problems,
Oh yeah, it does.
but overall, the story and its combat at the time does make up for it. at least. It
It's
does make up for it.
it's clunky, but there is a degree of satisfaction to it. It is functional, and it is good. It's just I think it's inferior to all the combat was to come later, except Chain of Memories, which we'll get to later.
I know.
But I think like when you and I first recorded it, I didn't really stress the music of the series. Like we didn't really talk about it all that much.
Oh, the music.
So I'll come out and say this. I think the most vital aspect of this series is its music. Without the music, there is no Kingdom Hearts. Even if the voice acting was the same and the combat was the same and the world design was the same, there is no Kingdom Hearts without Yoko Shimomura's music. Yeah, the music is essential. I think my favorite music is the theme for Traverse Town. Of course Simple and Clean, which is wonderful. Both versions are fantastic.
Donald Duck version is fantastic as well.
No, no, it is not. No.
I know, I'm kidding around.
No.
I heard.
No. So, like, the Traverse Town theme is great. The theme that plays when Sora is in Hollow Bastion, when he's... Oh, no. The music that plays when there's that flashback to Kairi's grandmother telling her the story of the worlds. I love that music. I love the final boss theme against Ansem, which is great. I love almost all the music. The only music I'm not like super crazy about is the Gummy Ship stuff. I'm just like, it's fine, but it doesn't blow me away like most of the other stuff does.
Yeah, the Gummy Ship levels took a while.
Yeah, they're my least favorite. One of my least favorite parts of the game. I don't like the Gummy Ship stuff. I don't like that you could get sucked into a wormhole into a world that you did not want to go to. I'm so glad they got rid of that in Kingdom Hearts 2. I did not like that one bit.
They did?
Yeah, they did. There's one that there's one, I think there's like a couple that can throw you off course, and they're easy to avoid. I just don't like that they're there. I just find it annoying. There's like I said, like Kingdom Hearts 1 is a good game, but there's a lot of things in it that I just find annoying. But everything else about it that I love. So thankfully the combat is one of them. So it kind of balances out into a very good game for me.
No, yeah.
Kind of, sorta. I really miss Billy Zane as Ansem. I really do. I'm sad that he didn't voice Ansem throughout the rest of the series.
What happened to him?
I don't know. I think he just didn't want to do it after the first one. And I mean, the guy that they got to voice him in the next ones is good. He's good as Ansem. But there's just something about Billy Zane's voice that's just it's just deliciously evil. I love it. It's just a shame that he didn't return for the other games. All the voice acting in this game is good. Like Haley, everyone is very lucky that Haley Joel Osment, like the voice, even when he got older, the voice was still good. He was still good in the series. Like they got like really good actors for all the voices, like even besides the Disney ones. That extends like the whole series, because you got people like Mark Hamill and Leonard Nimoy, rest in peace, and Christopher Lee, rest in peace, and all these like really big name actors for roles in this game. And that's like what I find really cool about the series too.
They got all the original movie actors.
Almost all of them. They got almost all of them.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
Oh yeah, most of them though.
Yeah.
They did.
I don't even know about most of them, but they got a lot of them back to the original.
Wait,
you know the person.
Tom,
well, go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Is Tom Hanks still voicing Buzz in 3?
No, you mean Woody.
Oh wait, no, he's not. No, who voiced Buzz?
Tim Allen.
Is he voicing him
No.
in 3?
No,
what?
no one in no one in the Toy Box world. I think the only ones that are voicing their characters are Wallace Shawn as Rex and John Ratzenberger as Ham. I think those are the only two actors that reprise their roles
Okay.
from the original Toy Story movies. Well, we're at the halfway point for how the time I'd like to do this. So I think the last thing that I'll say about Kingdom Hearts is that I think it has probably the best ending out of the whole series. I think it might be my favorite one, just because it's sad, but it's just there's something so like melancholic but hopeful about it, which I really love. And can you imagine if they never made another game after this? Like if they had just stopped it right here.
I would have been pissed.
Yeah. I would not have been pissed. I would have like it's a satisfying ending, but it does leave you on a bit of like a cliffhanger.
No,
Which
I would have been pissed.
well,
I would have been
thankfully
pissed.
they did, and we got way more after this. So thankfully,
And then she gives him her wayfinder.
yes, the Lucky Charm, and then there's the whole bit where they say goodbye, and she goes into the cave and sees his drawing, which brings her to tears, and it's just oh my god, God, that ending is so good, so great, and then she, like the last shot where she adds returning the pawpaw fruit to him. Oh god, it's so good. Love the ending.
And then you got Riku closing the door.
Yes, it's just sad. Very very sad. It's very sad. And Mickey, it's just yeah. Can you imagine like Mickey? They show Mickey a lot in the later games, but it's so cool to have him like show up. He'd be like this this voiceless face. No, he's like a faceless thing. Like he's a presence throughout the whole thing, but you don't see him until the very ending of the game, which I really like. And
What's close enough, Sora?
I like that they did not overdo having Mickey in the game, which they could have very easily done. They could have just been like, oh, here's Mickey here, here's Mickey there. Like him not being in it all that much, it makes his appearance more special at the end, which I think is awesome. And I love that shit.
Yeah, but they always have to advertise him on the box art to sell the game.
Yeah, but that's Disney too. That's you cannot slap a Disney logo on Kingdom Hearts and not have Mickey on the front cover. You just can't. Like you can't do that. He's on like most of them.
He's on all of them.
Is he on all of them?
Yes.
Is he on the Chain of Memory? Oh yeah, I think he is on the Chain of Memories one. Okay, yeah, you're right.
He's on all of them.
Oh god. Mickey, what are you doing?
He's
Mickey.
it's weird. He's not like, I mean, he's one of the main characters, but he rarely shows up. Like he'll like you're playing and he's like, oh hey, here I am. Let me
Hi,
help
buddy.
you.
Oh,
And then
bitch.
and then afterwards, oh, I'm done helping. I'll be back. Hope see you again soon.
And then he disappears for like hours on end.
Yeah, or you just never see him again throughout the.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
it is weird. So
They could've
any closing thoughts on the original Kingdom Hearts?
It is great. Obviously, at the time, I remember the last time we tried recording this. You said that obviously Nomura didn't know what he was doing at the time.
No,
Yo-
that's not what I said. Nomura made this game with the intention of telling a complete story.
No, yeah, he didn't.
And
He didn't expect it to become like a big franchise.
I don't think he
di-
did. I think a lot of the stuff in this game is, it's like, oh, it's just I'm gonna create this story and it's just gonna be a thing. But then he goes back and like tries to fit all the lore from this game into like the overall lore of the series, which can be a little clunky at times, and that's putting it mildly.
Even I'm still confused.
And it kind of ruins the mystique of the original Kingdom Hearts. Some of the stuff in it, just because of the excess
Okay.
lore baggage that's attached to a lot of it.
Okay, now before we move on, I have to
Okay.
ask one more time because I definitely forgot.
Okay.
What was Maleficent's attempt in the first one?
Her attempt? What do you mean? Like her goal?
Yeah, what was her goal?
Okay, so her goal in this one is to find the 7 princesses of light in order
Uh-huh.
to unlock Kingdom Hearts and show her the keyhole where Kingdom Hearts can be found.
Okay,
That's her goal.
and she does end up gathering all 7 of them, doesn't
She
she?
does, and it unlocks the keyhole to flood Hollow Bastion with Heartless, to flood the worlds with Heartless. But Sora stops her and stops the keyhole.
And then why does Ansem come in?
Because Ansem is just in the context of the first one, he's a seeker of darkness. So obviously he's going to be around as an influence to Maleficent and be like, hey, you should be, doing this power stuff.
And then
And he
since he's
possesses
awesome,
Riku.
oh yeah, because he's a heartless, so that's why he
Yes.
was able to possess Riku.
Yes, he
Okay,
possesses Riku.
okay.
Well, Riku lets him in to give himself more power. He does it in order to protect Kairi, but he does it a terrible thing for a right reason. It's just sucks how it goes later on.
On Guardian. I remember how he would say that.
God.
That's how he would say it, right?
Where he yells that shit every time. Submit when he's about to punch you in the face.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, with that being said,
I love the first one.
okay.
It is not my favorite one.
I really like the first one. It might be my second favorite out of them. Maybe
It's not my favorite.
it might be my second favorite one.
It's not my favorite.
So that's the original Kingdom Hearts. And now we move on to
Chain of
Memories. Yes, which I'm gonna let
You
I'm gonna let you start this one off because I have a lot of things to say about Chain of Memories.
Okay. Well, one, Adam, I know you don't like Chain of Memories because of the card combat and
No, I do
because
not.
the story is not the best. I mean, there's some important parts, but it's literally filler.
Actually,
Looking-
you know what? No. Keep going. But I have a counter to that.
It's somewhat filler. Not all of it.
Okay.
The thing with me is this: I had fun playing Chain of Memories. I mean, the card combat, it does take a while to get used to. It does take practice because you're basically playing a card game. And what is it?
Unfortunately.
What I didn't like though was how the battles start because they made it so like if you see a heartless, if you touch it or attack it, like the battle starts. It's like
Yeah.
I didn't know how to like feel about seeing that animation constantly because I kind of just like got over it like that. But story wise, I guess. I mean, I liked it, but it's not my favorite one, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I want to say I like it, but it's obviously still not my favorite. I still don't think it's as good as the first one. I like the first one more.
oh yeah,
than Chain of
I
Memories.
definitely like the first one a lot more.
I like the first one more than Chain of Memories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go out and say that Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is a very frustrating game for me. And not for the reason I said the first time when we recorded this. So I think the combat is terrible. I do not like the card bullshit at all. I think it is sluggish and boring and I do not like it and I think it's a big waste of time and I wish they would just remake it with the original combat system.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the card combat.
I know that there were limitations with the Game Boy Advance where you couldn't do like a full combat system like Kingdom Hearts, where they could do later on the Nintendo handheld systems. But I find it so frustrating. Just I don't even like card combat at the best of times. I think there's like very, 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 very few games where I like card combat, but this is definitely not one of them. And I think it is just so bad and it's so boring and I just don't like the combat at all. Well, it's just I like the story. I really like the story of it. And I went like after we recorded it, I'm glad we're re-recording this now cuz I went back and I watched the cutscenes and I was really taken aback by how disturbing it is. because it's like Riku's is not really that disturbing. Riku's is more about him overcoming Ansem in Castle Oblivion, his darker impulses that are festered in his heart from the original Kingdom Hearts, and him getting through it with Mickey and with Diz, which I think is okay. But I think the real meat and bones of Chain of Memories is Sora's story, which Sora's story is really unsettling because it is a descent into being like stripping away Sora's entire identity. And he basically, by the end of the game, he's just this fake broken shell of his former self. Like the deeper he goes into Castle Oblivion, like him losing his memories of Kairi and being manipulated into thinking Naminé was the one on Destiny Islands, and all the really terrible, frustrating stuff that happens to him. I find it like really, it's fucked. It's probably the most fucked up story next to maybe Birth by Sleep. It's the most fucked up story out of all of them, but it is really well done. And I was really I don't remember why. I guess because I was like so tired of it when I was watching it the first time, like a long time ago, but I really liked the story when I watched it this time around. I thought it was really good, which surprised me because I was like, oh god, am I gonna have to re-watch goddamn Chain of Memories in order to do this again? And I watched it and I was like, you know what? That was actually pretty damn good. It's definitely the most unique. I think it's one of the more unique ones in the series. It's really messed up.
It's fucked up. They tried manipulating Sora's memories.
Yeah, it's fucked. But then there's also the bits with like the Organization 13 members where they're having their own thing. It's like the internal politics of that.
Most of them, really... it was mostly just arguing with the organization.
Yes, it is. It's like Vexen and Marluxia and Larxene, and they're all like they all have their own little goals in mind and all that. And it's really, it's cool to see the inner dynamics of this splintered group from Organization 13, and also I guess I lost my train of thought again.
I was about to ask you something.
Okay.
What was it the Organization 13 was trying to accomplish in Chain of Memory again?
They wanted to manipulate Sora's memories. This splintered group of Organization 13, they kidnapped Naminé in order to get her to rewrite Sora's memories so that he would think that he's fighting for Naminé, and then they would they'd get Naminé to twist him into thinking that the other, the real Organization 13, like back at the world that never was, presumably, that they are the real villains, and that this splintered group of traitors to Organization 13 is going to use Sora as a weapon against the real Organization 13. So he would be like fighting Zigbar and Xemnas and Roxas and all those other guys over there. So that was what they wanted with Sora.
Oh, so they wanted to use him to fight against the rest of the other organization.
Yes, they wanted to use it. They wanted to brainwash him basically to fight for them. And they were going to use Naminé and her ability to twist his memories, because Naminé is Kairi's nobody, so she has like these weird powers that are associated with like her being able to manipulate memories and dreams and all that shit.
And how come she doesn't have an X to her name? Oh wait, because she wasn't claimed by the organization.
No, she's a nobody. She's a very powerful nobody, but she is not Organization 13.
That's why she doesn't have an X.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, she's Kairi's nobody. So.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then why? And then they were all betraying the organization because
they just wanted it for themselves. That's just greed. Just greed. Really simple. It's simple in that motivation. It's just greed.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's why Marluxia at the beginning, tells Sora to come deeper into Castle Oblivion, like to to like what the hell does he say? He's like to lose is to find or whatever the hell.
What
Something
to
like
lose is to what to lose is to find, and what to
yes.
find is to lose.
Yes, that shit. So that's why he does it, because he wants Sora to go into Castle Oblivion so that Naminé can just completely screw with his memory. That's what he wants. And thankfully Naminé, I think Naminé being the nobody of Kairi, that's why she's not totally complicit, totally complicit in their goal to do that to Sora. Like, she wants to protect him to some extent. It's not, unfortunately, it's just not until much later when the damage has already been done that she finally is like, now I won't do anything. Now I will help Sora. And it's like, okay, well, why the fuck didn't you just do that in the beginning?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's also, really fucked, how some of these characters die. Like Vexen's death in particular is like, holy shit.
How does Vexen die?
Vexen gets lit on fire because he gets burned to death by Axel. Like Axel just snaps his fingers, then Vexen just goes up in this flame and he dies. It's like, holy shit, that's dark. Like, Axel does some fucked up shit in this game.
Wasn't wasn't Axel introduced in this one?
Yes. This is the one where Axel comes in, but we don't know the full extent of what Axel's relationship is to Sora until much later.
No,
I don't even know if he knows how Sora is connected. He might know, but I don't know if he fully understands how Sora is connected to Roxas and Xion at this point.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely.
And it's so weird too. Like, this is happening alongside. I think this happens either before.
No, 358. 358 happens.
During some of Chain of Memories.
Happens during some of Chain of Memories and after Chain of Memories.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, some of the it's one in 358. Like, once you get to the part where like all the organization members were like taken down, the rest like just takes place after Chain of Memories already.
Gotcha.
It already takes place after it.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. What was it? Okay, with Sora's story set to put what was Riku? Riku's obviously was about conquering the darkness.
Yes, it was about escaping Ansem's influence.
Yeah, in the end, he does conquer it a little bit. He kind of learns to embrace it a little bit. Because wasn't that was pretty much the only way to like conquer it. Because if he kept like resisting, it just meant that he was fearing it, and that would obviously make the darkness more strong.
Well, of course. But it's just, I don't think Riku's story is as interesting as Sora's. Like, anywhere near as interesting. It's still interesting, but it's not Sora's story. It doesn't have that same emotional punch that Sora's story does.
No, yeah, it's not Sora's story good.
Yeah.
It's not. And then what was the organization trying to do with Riku? Because I did see them bring in the Riku puppet.
Well, that was just being used to fuck with Sora in a sense, and to influence his memory even more, because Sora believes that this is the real Riku to some extent, but then he realizes, like, oh wait, no, you're not Riku, you're somebody else. But then Riku keeps telling him, like, didn't we'd promised that we'd help Naminé, because Riku, this fake Riku that Vexen has created, he is designed to further push Sora into believing that the fake memories that Naminé is putting into his head are real, because he has the fake memories as well. So that's why replica Riku exists. I think they just use him against Riku and Riku's story just to fuck with Riku, really, just to be an obstacle. That's really about it. Or there's also even like the theme of like, can you be your own person if you are a copy of somebody else, which is interesting. It kind of runs throughout the whole series with Roxas and Xion and all these other characters. That's really all I've got to say about Chain of Memories. far as
Yeah.
Chain of Memories is good story, terrible gameplay, not as good as the first one.
I like the gameplay, but that's because I got used to it. But obviously, I understand why people hate it.
I
I
find
mean,
it
it's
intolerable.
I like Sora's story. Now that you reminded me of it, of what
Yes.
happened, because it
Sora's
was
story
pretty fucked up.
is
It
very
was
good.
it was very fucked up with how they were manipulating his memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Riku's story obviously it was good still, but
Mm-hmm.
not as good as Sora's. I still liked it, but it's still not. It's not even in my top five. No, it's not in my top five for sure. It's not in my top five.
I'm curious what would be in your top 5 Kingdom
I
Hearts
listed
games.
them already on a Facebook post, but
I don't
I
remember.
don't think I honestly wouldn't trust that because I don't think that's an accurate order
Okay.
at all.
All right.
I don't think it's an accurate order.
Fair enough.
The first two I would say most likely ordered though.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
who knows? Maybe it'll change after all these podcasts because
maybe.
we're obviously going through we're obviously like going through like all the stories
Yes.
once again, and then
Of
finally
course.
everything's like starting to come back again.
Yes.
Plus it's good to talk about it with three like almost like right here.
Yes. Oh my God.
It's hard to
I
believe.
can't believe it's that close. We're
Yeah.
almost there. And whoopah! And like that, the Heartless came in, and I couldn't use the last bit of the footage that I recorded, so this is me coming in post-editing, because the background noise on Richard's End just started to become a little bit too much. So I just cut this bit out, and this is gonna be the outro just from myself. So thank you to everyone who watched this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just leave us feedback, constructive criticism on what we could do better next time. And with that, the next episode is going to be next week, and it's going to be focused on Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 358/2 Days, which are almost like two companion games in a very interesting way. So, and the bit, I think there was a bit where I lost my train of thought much earlier when we were talking about the original Kingdom Hearts. What I wanted to say was that I think it's really cool that they brought in a lot of these really big actors and that they agreed to do this, because the material can be seen by a lot of people as really goofy, but having really well-known iconic actors involved like Mark Hamill and Leonard Nimoy and Christopher Lee really brings this sense of gravitas to the whole series, especially having Christopher Lee. Like, as good of a voice actor as Corey Burton is when he voices Yensid and Ansem the Wise in later entries, I think having Christopher Lee as Diz for the first time was such a treat to hear his voice in it. It's so good. And yeah, that's really all I got to say regarding this. So thank you to everyone who watched, and we will see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye.